Garvadach is the first boss in the instant Sagaroth from the Return to Karn cluster. The boss has limited mechanics, but he does summon adds that have a bunch of mechanics that need to be addressed. So your main goal will be to kill all the adds in a manner that keeps your entire fellowship alive. Let's take a closer look at this fight on Tier 4. There will be 3 waves of adds. The first wave of adds spawn at 100% when the boss is initially activated. There will be a sorcerer, warrior, barghest, and soldier. You can ignore the warrior and soldier and instead focus on the barghest first. Kill the barghest first because it will be draining morale and power from your group that can have deadly results. The benefit of this also is that it allows the sorcerer to get at least one induction off without being interrupted. Have your tanks focus on the sorcerer, making sure to allow the extra damage buff to be cast, and then interrupt all subsequent inductions. Kill the sorcerer second. Have everyone group up on the sorcerer to ensure that they are in proximity when it is killed so that they can get the plus 25% damage buff for 45 seconds. This will make the rest of the fight go much faster. Once the sorcerer is down, focus onto the boss and with AoE damage kill the warrior and the soldier. Their morale is low and will be dead by the time you get to the next add wave. At 66% of Garvadach's health, he will summon the next set of adds. There will be 2 sickle flies, 2 slugs, and 2 sorcerers. The sickle flies and slugs will spawn in the middle of the room. Make sure that everyone is grouped up loosely on the north gate. Place the tank in the middle of the room, a little to the south. This ensures that no one is in the sickle fly's aura and thus will not get sickly presence or greatly diseased frailty. The tank must aggro these immediately and drag the sickle flies and slugs away from the group. If one gets loose, the tank must at a minimum ensure that none of the sickle flies are close to the group. Have your TA target one sickle fly. They must interrupt the yellow bar induction called infection. The tank should target the other sickle fly and be sure to interrupt its infection induction. If either sickle fly gets infection off, it is pretty much game over, because it will kill a player in 9 seconds with a disease that cannot be removed. This is the most critical part of the fight. After the sickle flies die, you will have the 2 slugs left to deal with. Remember to remove corruption from the slugs. They will not die if they have corruption on them. No need to worry about frenzy here because the knockback won't actually knock you into the green river, so frenzy can be ignored. If you have a burglar in the group, have them do startling twist on cooldown to ensure that the slugs are ready to be killed when you switch to them. If you don't have a burg, then everyone is responsible for using their corruption removal skills when killing the slugs. At the beginning of the second wave, the sorcerers will spawn at the north gate. Have your LM Bane flare the sorcerers and then chain mez them. The sorcerers here will die last. Remember to allow one of them to get the damage induction before you kill it. This extra plus 25% will last you through the end of the fight. Don't have an LM? Then just ignore the sorcerers until you've killed the slugs. At 33%, the boss will call his last set of adds, which will be the sorcerer, vetted dark water, and skirmisher. Kill the sorcerer, allowing the first induction bar to go off, so you can steal the buff. Then just focus on the boss. Once the boss dies, the other adds will be dead. You can just AoE off the boss at this point. Yes, it's time to loot. Now, let's look at specific things that Garvadach does. First, he has the following buffs on him: protection from slows, uncommon fortitude, permanent state of immunity. All of this just means that those skills won't work on him, so you can CC Garvadach and just have to deal with him. The way to manage Garvadach is to simply ensure that your tank has aggro on him the entire time. This will ensure that most of the skills are directed towards your tank. Shadow's Touch is a debuff from the boss that is placed on the tank and has a minus 25% shadow mitigation for 1.5 minutes. On lower tiers, this means pretty much the entire fight. Shadow mitigation is directly related to tactical mitigation, so you will want to make sure that at T3 and up that your tank has capped tactical mitigation to overcome this effect. Lower mitigations just means that your tank is going to die all the time, or your healer is going to be overworked and may not be able to compensate for a tank with low tactical mitigation. The boss will randomly select someone in the group to single out, turn to this individual, and place the corruption sewer water on them. There is no induction on this skill and is completely random. This is a corruption to the player that cannot be removed and adds plus 5% incoming damage for 20 seconds on tier 1. Each tier incoming damage increases by 5%. Healers should focus on anyone taking excessive damage due to the sewer water. Also, this will affect anyone standing next to the targeted person. This is the reason why we all spread out along the north gate during the second wave of ads. Siphon Life is a small damage attack that is a yellow induction bar and can be interrupted. If the tank has high enough mitigations, then Siphon Life will only be a tickle and can be ignored. If your tank is struggling to get their mitigations capped, then you will not be able to ignore Siphon Life, and the tank will need to be responsible for interrupting this induction. Right. Now, I know y'all probably want a video of Garvadach next, but I'm hesitant to make one at the moment because that boss is still broken. By that, I mean that there are certain mechanics that occur when the induction bars don't display correctly and then everyone dies. For example, Tail Whip from Garvadach and Spread Plague from the Tiny Vermin are both supposed to be yellow induction bars that can be interrupted. However, often these fail to display and causes instant deaths. Until they fix that boss fight, there really is no way to succeed in it. Thus, I'm going to hold off on making that video until they fix those bugs. Next time, I'll show you how to get through Vile Apothecary Tier 4. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please hit the like and subscribe button, and leave me a comment below to let me know where you're getting stuck on Garvadach's fight, and I'll help you where I can.